Hey, Wimberg World Entertainment, and just like that, Ironheart has come to an end. Yep, just as quickly as the first 3 episodes came, the last 3 episodes came and went with no fanfare at all. And all 3 are just as bad as the first, if not worse. There is one shining glimmer of light in the episodes, more so halfway through episode 2 and by the end of episode 3. And that is Sacha Baron Cohen, who is playing Mephisto, which we all knew. It's been out there for a hell of a long time that was the case. Unfortunately, why in God's name they put Mephisto in Ironheart makes no sense. And the fact that it's not going to go anywhere is even worse. Does the character of Riri Williams own up to her mistakes, own up to her issues, her problems, the fact that she's not just an accomplice to murder, but she's actually a murderer herself, or any stuff like that? Does she become the hero? Hell no. Are you kidding me? Not just does she remain the villain that she's always been, she doubles down and actually by the end becomes the full 100% villain. And there's no arguing about that, seeing as she makes the deal with Mephisto. Yep, so it's hilarious as well because the first episode of these last 3, which is episode 4, she actually gets called out as being a villain and stuff. And she even says herself the crap she has done. And you just roll your eyes and go, sweet Jesus, like, they make it even worse from what we were looking at. She pretends to phone Shiri in Wakanda because the AI says to her, I can't even remember the character's name, Alicia or something, says like, hey, why don't you get help and like phone Shiri? And of course she does this mock phone call where she's like, oh yeah, you know, how am I doing? Oh well. And this is what she lists. Riri Williams herself lists this to just show you what kind of character you're meant to be cheering on here. She says, I started a war on land and in the oceans. So she is saying she started the war between Wakanda and Namor and all those things. That she got kicked out of MIT. She joined a criminal organization and has become a criminal, and she's done a ton of other horrendous things. That's the stuff she has said herself. Stan obviously gets arrested because the thing fell on the floor. Does she kind of even apologize for that happening? Does she say like, oh, you know, maybe I could have done it better or should have done more to get you out of it? Nope. She goes to see him in prison, and first thing she does when he comes out is she's like, oh, look at you, you know, you look great, they gave you khakis and all this stuff. She's making a joke of it, and he's pretty much like, what the hell do you want? And he calls her out and says like, yeah, you're only out for yourself, you're selfish, you're dishonest, you've no morals, you're a criminal, you're disgusting, you only want to be number one, you know, you don't care about anyone else. He just lists off these things and you're just sitting there applauding it going, that's exactly who this character is. He does get taken out of prison by Parker, aka the Hood. He offers him a deal, but the deal is that he'll get him all of his stuff. He upgrades himself. In the comics, I believe he had a suit, like an Iron Man suit that fires the electricity and stuff. In this case, they just put like things in his actual body. But Parker has the transvestite or cross-dresser or whatever he is. Click on stuff to remove the administration name from Ezekiel Stan to Parker. So yeah, so he gets control of him without him knowing. A lot of flashbacks in these ones with Parker between his first kind of job with Tony or John, whatever the dude's name was, the one that Riri just let die and practically murdered because she could have saved him, but no, she let the door close on him. To his kind of first job and where he got the hood and stuff, which was Mephisto showing up and offered. Now you don't find out that he's Mephisto until pretty much the end of the 3rd episode when he actually says that he introduces himself to Riri as Mephisto. You get one blink and you'll miss a glimpse of him in somewhat of his original form. You don't see Mephisto looking like Mephisto, except for that very tiny little thing of an image of him in a spoon. Yeah, and it's like, God, you know. So people who don't know Mephisto stuff will have been watching this until he announced his name. You would have never known it was Mephisto because he doesn't look like Mephisto or anything like that. As well, they think he's Madormu. Is that the name? How you pronounce it? Madormu or God? I always thought it was Magotu. I think it's Madormu. The god villain in the first Doctor Strange. Lots of mentions of Doctor Strange actually in this one, because we do meet this new character, kind of more like a witch rather than a sorcerer. Velma or Welma, I think it's Velma or something like that. The nerdy geeky girl you see in the trailers, who yeah, it gets so weird with her and stuff. They instantly go, okay, so your suit can't do this and it can't do that, we need to fight magic with magic, blah blah blah. So of course by the third episode they're infusing her new suit that they built out of a car. So how exactly it's an iron suit, don't know, but they infuse it with the magic and all this stuff, and they're like, oh, we don't know how it's going to work, or does it work, or we need to fight the magic with magic though and stuff. And all I can think of is, wow, you went to this little sweet store. This is where this magic girl is. They work in like a store that is meant to deal with magic, like crystals and sage and stuff, but they also sell sweets, until you find out, oh no, they actually have powers that they can bring you down to other dimensions and stuff like this. This is where they also kind of bring up Doctor Strange, and they do talk about and reference Mads Mikkelsen's character as well from Doctor Strange, whatever the character's name was again. But you're just like, wow, you just can't figure out Mephisto's cape, the piece of cape. They're looking at it, they're like, oh my god, we don't know what this is, but it's dark and evil, you gotta get it out of here. All this stuff, ooh, we should try and infuse it with the suit, blah blah blah. We don't know what it's gonna do, where it comes from, how to defeat it, blah blah blah. And all you're sitting there thinking of is, wow, if only there was someone you could turn to with sorceress powers that could actually help you. Someone like, I don't know, just off the top of my head here, Doctor fucking Strange. You've talked about him enough. Maybe you should go to Doctor Strange. You know, the AKA supposedly Sorcerer Supreme, or even Wong, who is meant to be the Sorcerer. Like, it's not like there isn't this guild of sorcerers that you could possibly go to and go, hey, any chance you could help out? Nah, it'll be fine. We'll just shit around with the suit and put magic into the suit. It's redonkulous. It really is redonkulous. And it gets worse. Like, Riri, she does not take any accountability. She gets worse as the episodes go on. You know, she's holding things from people. She absolutely is not telling her mother about what's happening and stuff like that, but she's trying to protect them, which is hilarious, by the way. Here's the thing. So, obviously Parker's like, okay, he wants the team to go out and kill Riri, because he knows that she let John, I think it's John or Tony, whatever the hell the idiot's name was, that she let him die, so he wants her head. So he sends the team of morons in. This is possibly where we get the funniest moment in the entire series, is that they're in White Castle. Yeah, the White Castle takeout place or fast food joint. Riri and Velma, whatever the hell that girl's name was. This, by the way, I think is the second episode. So the twins walk in, you know, the Fight Club twins, the actual trans person and the girl, who are meant to be twins and brother and sister. This is what's hilarious. So they walk in and the trans one says, sorry folks, the restaurant's closed due to health issues, so you have to leave. And of course everyone's just sitting there looking at these two going like, the hell? The girl one, the actual girl, says, did you not hear what he said? He said the place... I laughed out loud. I was like, the thing even has still the girl voice, for God's sake. But This is the first time we really hear that one speak quite a lot of lines. And the first question you have to ask is, oh, look at that. They're meant to be twins. But the girl's an American accent and that one's got their natural Australian accent. Work that one out, folks. So their plan goes completely wrong. But the Fight Club people, the ones who could beat the bejesus out of everyone with ease, couldn't take down Riri Williams. Yep, they struggled and got their asses handed to them by the little 5 foot nothing, Riri. She stops them by having that little shield thing on the watch. They fire the bullet, it traps them in the bubble. With the watch right there on the floor, and Molly just stand on the watch and break it. No, she rolls them away. Then Clown comes in with her little bombs and she just spends time throwing the bombs. But Riri kind of gets to her by saying, hey, look, the Rampage or whatever the hell he was meant to be called, Parker killed him. Just ask. She gets away from her by knocking her out with a pipe or something. She runs outside. This part is hilarious. By the way, they managed to capture her suit. The suit buggered off. The AI, Alicia, whatever her name was, buggered off because Riri says she should have deleted her. This is after she shows the brother of the dead girl's the AI, and he freaks out. Riri freaks out. The AI freaks out. The AI buggers off with the suit, which is then sitting on top of a building, just sitting there going do. And all of a sudden, this big magnet thing comes up, grabs it, and pulls down, and it's the cross-dresser. Yeah, the drag queen going, yeah, I got the suit, I'm on my way. And you're like, how did you even know where the suit was? And what do you mean you were able to, with a magnet, you were able to just reach a magnet up onto a building and pull it down? And so he's driving to get Riri. He sees Riri. Riri's now running in the middle of the road. One suit is freeing itself from the magnet. This is the part you see in the trailers where the suit comes, grabs Riri, she does a little flip, lands, and punches the van over. She runs out into the middle of the road, and yet for some reason the drag queen decides to turn the van to smash into cars parked alongside. I'm just like, you dickhead, like, she's out in the middle of the road. Why are you running the van into the car? When she does the smash and the car, or the van goes flipping, the guy just steps out and walks off. Not a scratch on him. He literally gets out. He's not dazed or anything. Turns around. Riri kind of flinches at him like, I'm gonna get you. And he just goes, oh, to hell with this, and walks off. It gets so convoluted and stupid. But by the end, like, I'm gonna leave out so much in this because there's really nothing worth talking about. It's a lot of just kind of talking, and you can really see where they were trying to save the show in the editing bay, because things happen where it's just like, well, wait a minute, there's a lot left out here. Like, all of a sudden, the mother is being told all the information about Parker and the suit and stuff, and it's like, wait a minute, literally 2 seconds ago, she knew nothing about this. It gets so weird. Riri's attitude towards everything is like ridiculous. Her mother, she's going to bugger off in the suit, and the mother's literally, Riri, don't you even dare get into that suit. And she turns around to her and goes, or what? And by the end, as I said, like, I'm skipping over a lot because, again, nothing happens. But then we get to Mephisto being introduced to Riri, who's just beaten Parker, ripped the cloak off. And even he says, you don't want the cloak to stop me, so you want it for yourself, for power. So she gets the cloak off him. By the way, she's taking the elevator in the pizzeria place. Yeah, she's in the suit, brand new suit. She's not flying up through the windows and stuff to surprise him. She's taking the elevator. And when she beats him, she takes it back down and meets Mephisto. And basically he makes the deal with her because all she wants in life is her friend back. And she thinks it's the AI, but it's not the AI, it's the actual girl, which she's pumped about. It's like, yay! Which means she signed over her soul to Mephisto. Yeah. There is a post-credit or mid-credit scene in the final episode, and it is Parker showing up into the shop where Velma, whatever her name is, works, and asking for magic. And that's the end. The show goes nowhere. It went nowhere, except from the first episode to the very last episode, the character of Riri Williams, Ironheart, was the true villain, and we were watching the arc of a villain, ending with her 100% cementing that yes, she is and always has been the villain. So, with that, I shall leave it there for this one. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Cheers, and I will catch you in the next one.